Hello, I'm Nikki Newman. This is my official YouTube channel. Please subscribe and support us.
Young and the Restless spoilers shock. Welcome back to our channel. Everyone, today is an absolutely insane day in the soap world. And honestly, we need to sit down and talk about this immediately. Grab a huge cup of coffee or maybe something a lot stronger, because what we are about to dive into is heavy, shocking, and is going to change the landscape of this show forever. Let's just jump right into the absolute madness. So I am literally shaking as I type this. I've been staring at the screen for like an hour just trying to process what the writers just did. You guys know we've been following the Las Vegas storyline for weeks now. We knew it was dark. We knew Matt Clark was a complete psychopath who was torturing Nick Newman, pumping him full of fentanyl and cocaine, and playing these sick mind games with Adam and Chelsea. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, could have prepared us for the horrific, gut-wrenching twist that just went down. Nick actually escaped. He managed to get out of that storage room where Matt had locked him and Adam. I don't even know how he found the strength with all those drugs in his system, but he did. Maybe it was pure adrenaline. Maybe it was the desperate need to survive, but he got out. And for a split second, just one tiny second, you think, okay, the nightmare is over. Nick is free. The good guys are going to rally and take down Matt Clark. But no, oh my God, no, because Matt Clark is a monster. And while Nick was fighting for his life, Matt pulled off the most devastating, unforgivable act in the history of this show. Matt kidnapped Naoh and Sharon. And he didn't just kidnap them to use as leverage. He didn't hold them hostage to taunt Nick some more. He killed them. Matt Clark murdered Sharon Newman and Naoh Newman. I just need to type that again because my brain is refusing to accept it. Sharon is dead. Naoh is dead. The writers actually went there and I'm honestly sick to my stomach. What were they thinking? Who actually believes this is going to end well? You do not just wipe out a legacy character like Sharon Newman, who has been the heart and soul of this show for decades, and her firstborn son, in one brutal swoop. It's too much. It's just too much. Let's talk about the scene where Nick finds them, because I don't think I will ever get it out of my head. It was visceral. It was raw. It was the kind of television that makes you want to look away, but you are completely paralyzed. Nick, stumbling, still half delirious from the drugs, tracks them down. And he walks into this horrific aftermath. The silence in that scene was deafening. There was no dramatic music at first. Just the sound of Nick's ragged breathing. And then he sees them. He sees the bodies of the woman he has loved since they were teenagers, and the son they brought into this world together. Nick just completely broke. The golden boy of Genoa City, the moral compass of the Newman family, shattered into a million irreversible pieces right there on the floor. He fell to his knees and the scream that came out of Joshua Morrow. You guys, give this man all the Emmys right now. It wasn't a TV cry. It was a guttural, primal roar of absolute agony. It sounded like his soul was being ripped out of his chest. He pulled Sharon's lifeless body into his arms, rocking her, burying his face in her hair, begging her to wake up. And then he reached out and grabbed Noah's cold hand. I was sobbing. I am not ashamed to admit it. I was weeping at my desk, because you have to remember the history here. Nick and Sharon have survived so much. They survived losing Cassie. Remember how that destroyed them. Remember how Nick couldn't even function after Cassie died in that hospital bed? And now to lose Noah and to lose Sharon herself. It's a level of tragedy that I don't think a character can actually come back from. And honestly, maybe I'm being too dramatic, but I feel like a piece of my own childhood just died with Sharon. She was the ultimate survivor. She beat cancer. She survived Cameron Kirsten. She survived being gaslit and manipulated by so many people. And to have her story end like this, butchered by a ghost from her past like Matt Clark, it feels cruel. It feels so incredibly cruel to the fans on social media who have rooted for Schick for over 25 years. But the grief didn't last long because what replaced it was terrifying. As Nick knelt there in the blood of his family, you could literally see the shift in his eyes. The devastation hardened into something cold, dark, and utterly terrifying, a primal rage. The Nick Newman who plays by the rules, who tries to be the good guy, who runs a coffee house and tries to keep his family's dark impulses in check. That Nick died in that room right alongside Sharon and Naoh. He didn't even want to deal with the police. What are the police going to do? Arrest Matt? Put him in a cell so he can escape again? No, Nick is totally bypassing the authorities. He mobilized the entire Newman Enterprises private security force. He is launching a global scorched earth manhunt for Matt Clark. He doesn't want Matt arrested. He wants Matt to suffer. He vowed to make Matt taste a pain 1,000 times worse than what he is feeling right now. And honestly, I don't blame him. I really don't. If someone did that to my family, I'd want to burn the world down too. And speaking of burning the world down, let's talk about Victor Newman. Because if you thought Nick was scary, Victor's reaction is the stuff of actual nightmares. We all know Victor has a dark side. We know he has locked people in dungeons. He has ruined lives. He has operated outside the law for decades. But this is his son's true love and his grandson. Victor's reaction wasn't just anger. It was a cold, calculated, demonic ruthlessness that we haven't seen in years. Victor is unleashing every single dark resource he has. He is funding Nick's private war. And it is so intense, so violently dark, that even Nikki Newman is terrified. Nikki, the woman who has stood by Victor through almost everything. The woman who usually justifies his bad behavior because it's for the family, Nikki is shaking. She is watching her husband turn into a monster of vengeance, and she is paralyzed with fear that Victor is going to completely lose his humanity. She's watching him orchestrate this bloodbath, and she's terrified that by the time they catch Matt, there won't be anything human left of Victor or Nick. It's actually a really fascinating dynamic if you think about it. Usually, Victor is the one pulling the strings and Nick is the one telling him he's going too far. But now, Nick is right there in the mud with him. Nick is demanding blood. And Nikki is the only one standing on the sidelines, grieving the loss of Sharon and Naoh, but also grieving the loss of the men she loves because they are being consumed by this hatred. And just when I thought my heart couldn't take any more, the writers threw in a psychological twist that absolutely wrecked me. Nick is clearly losing his mind. The trauma, the grief, the residual drugs in his system from Matt's torture. It's all compounding. He's not sleeping. He's barely breathing. He's just a vessel of rage. And then, in the middle of his delirium, he hallucinates Sharon. You guys, I can't. I just can't. He's standing there, completely broken, eyes wild, barking orders at security teams, and suddenly the room goes quiet. And he turns around, and she's there, Sharon, not bloody, not broken, but beautiful, glowing, looking at him with those big sad eyes. Nick just stops. He reaches out, his hand shaking, trying to touch her face, but his fingers just go through air. And the look of absolute devastation on his face when he realizes she's not real. It was brutal. But hallucination Sharon isn't there to comfort him. She's there with a warning. She looks at him with tears in her eyes, and she urges him to stop. She tells him not to let Victor's hatred burn down the rest of their family. She reminds him that Faith is still alive. Summer is still alive. Mariah is still alive and suffering in a facility. She tells Nick that if he lets this primal rage consume him, if he lets Victor guide him into the darkness, there will be nothing left of the family they built. Don't let him burn it down, Nick, she says. Don't let the fire take you too. Okay, that sounded dramatic, but you get what I mean. It was such a powerful moment. Because even in death, even as a figment of Nick's shattered psyche, Sharon is trying to save him. She is trying to be his moral compass because he has completely lost his. But will he listen? Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think Nick can hear anything right now except the sound of his own heart breaking. He is too far gone. And let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture here. How does the show even move forward from this? The landscape of Genoa City is permanently altered. Noah was supposed to be the next generation of Newman men. He had his struggles, sure, but he was a good kid. And Sharon, she was the matriarch of the coffee house. She was the therapist, the friend, the mother. Who is going to anchor all these characters now? Think about Mariah. Oh my God, Mariah. She is currently locked in a mental health facility, fighting off a vindictive legal petition from Devon. And now someone is going to have to walk into that facility and tell her that her mother and her brother were brutally murdered. Mariah is going to completely snap. There is no way she survives this news with her sanity intact. And what about Faith? She's away at college, right? She has to come home to bury her mom and her brother. And Adam. Adam was right there in Vegas. Adam knew Matt was bluffing about Nick being dead, but he had no idea Matt was pivoting to Sharon and Noah. Adam has always had this weird, complicated, deep connection with Sharon. She was one of the only people who ever truly believed he could be good. When Adam finds out Matt killed her, Adam might just revert to his spider persona and join Nick in the hunt. Can you imagine Nick, Adam, and Victor all teaming up with zero moral boundaries to hunt down Matt Clark? It's going to be a bloodbath. I just keep thinking about the fans. The fans on social media are going to riot. People have invested decades into Sharon. To have her taken out by Matt Clark, a villain from the 90s who has always been obsessed with destroying her, it's full circle. Yes, but it's so incredibly bleak. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe there's some crazy soap twist where they aren't really dead. I mean, Diane Jenkins came back from the dead, right? Victor has died like 6 times. But the way this was shot, the way Nick held their bodies, it felt final. It felt like the writers are making a massive, irreversible statement. And poor Nikki. I keep going back to Nikki. She just tried to play peacemaker with Jack and Diane, failed miserably, and now she is thrust into the middle of a literal war zone. She's watching her husband become a warlord and her son become an executioner. So what happens next week? The spoilers said there would be explosive chaos in Vegas, but they completely undersold it. This isn't chaos. This is an apocalypse for the Newman family. I don't know how I'm going to sleep tonight, honestly. My mind is just racing with all the implications. Will Nick actually pull the trigger when he finds Matt? Will Victor get to him first? Will hallucination Sharon keep appearing to Nick, slowly driving him insane as he tries to balance his need for revenge with her plea for peace? It's messy, it's clunky, it's heartbreaking, and it's the most compelling television this show has produced in years. I hate it because I love Sharon, but I can't deny that the acting is top tier. We are in uncharted territory now, you guys. The golden boy is dead. The primal hunter is awake. And Matt Clark has nowhere to hide. I will be tracking every single update, every single spoiler, and I will be right back here to vent with you all. Drop your thoughts in the comments because I desperately need to know I am not the only one completely traumatized by this episode. Until next time, hold your loved ones close because apparently in Genoa City, nobody is safe anymore.